Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret and Raccoon podcast, episode 54. I am Ace.
And I'm the Angry Raccoon. And bringing you the second podcast of 2016 on a...
17.
70s.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it yet.
I know,
I'm not
it
used to
is a bad change. It's odd.
It always takes me usually a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But we're more than a few weeks into this year. I mean, we're in the 20s now. Almost the first month is up. But we're recording on a very cold yet sunny day.
A very odd one. It's like ice near my home, and here it's a little sunnier. So
it's a little sunnier, but I doubt it's any warmer for the most part.
A little surprisingly. Outside mine, if I left my hands out of my coat for a second, they feel like frost.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. It's a must-have with gloves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the January time, and that's what happens when it gets cold, unfortunately. But it is it's a somewhat welcome change, this harsh weather, compared to, I guess, what would now be, a summertime or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just rambling about the weather. It's really not that important compared to what we're about to talk about on this podcast. But before we do that, I must ask, Ace, how have you been over the last 2 weeks or so?
I've been really good. Just like on the previous podcast, it had gone past your birthday. This one has gone past my birthday.
Ah, small world.
Exactly. Very strange but fun. I had an exciting birthday. It was very relaxing, and my brother took me out to see a film, which was at the Prince Charles Cinema in London. Very nice cinema, very small, but always perfect. Before I talk about the film that I saw there...
Sorry, real quick, is that their motto or something like that?
No, but it should be.
Very small but perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe you should send that to them.
I will. But before I talk about the film I saw, I wanted to talk about one specific trailer, because this was perfect.
Okay.
So the trailer starts off with the Star Wars music, the traditional Star Wars music. You know, all excitement, all grandeur, and then you hear stuff like, "Oh, hi, Mark." And all the hallmarks from The Room going over the Star Wars trailer music.
Right.
As the trailer's going on, it's starting to tell us a few things, and then it's the announcement. In Prince Charles Theatre, between Wednesday the 8th of February and Sunday the 12th of February, they're doing Room live with Tommy Wiseau. Yes.
So, has the pre-order already been opened?
I have checked, and the first 2 days, I think Wednesday and Thursday, have all sold out. But Friday, Saturday and Sunday, they still have.
Right,
So,
we're going to make a quick cut while I get some tickets.
Yeah.
No.
But they're also going to be showing an exclusive footage for his next film and collaboration with Greg Sitesi, I'm not sure, which is called Best Friends.
Ooh.
Yes. I thought I'd have to mention that because that was just perfect.
I'm glad you did, actually.
Yeah. So, and that's the only place I've seen it advertised anywhere. Obviously, it's a Prince Charles exclusive event.
Such a shame. I think we're going to have to put that in the description and the download link, I must say. Which you'll find, obviously. We'll have everything we talk about there, including this now. And you'll also find a download link and our email, which is raccoonplusfriends.gmail.com if you have any queries or any questions or whatever you want to say. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, eventually, obviously, after the trailers, got to see the film be in Your Name. Watch this subtitled Japanese, because it is an anime.
Original.
Yeah. There wasn't actually a choice of double sub here, but I saw in November there was. So,
I believe back then you could pick.
Yeah.
And I originally was going to see it at some point, but the friend I was going to go see it with couldn't quite make it. We were both very busy at the same time, so it was unfortunate. But I'm looking forward to its DVD/Blu-ray release, which isn't too far off.
Yeah, and I would say that I loved this anime. Just like if you watched our review of La La Land.
Yes.
A lot of emotion and, to do with love, romances, and some of the difficulties to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
The two main characters being Mitsuharu and Taki both live in very distinct locations in Japan. Tokyo City and a small village. And how they connect with each other over these two distances is beautiful and terribly sad. I'm trying so hard to not spoil anything
don't.
because this one is so easy to spoil, even with its concept.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave it at that. Of if you like anime, romance, or even films that are the highest grossing anime worldwide at the moment, such as Your Name.
Anything that people could, reference it to, as in it's like this or like that, just maybe so people can get a slight feel for it.
I'd say if you're looking at it in terms of Ghibli, which a lot of people would compare to, I'd probably say it's stuff more like maybe When Marnie Was There. So it's not super over the top fun.
Whisper of the Wind.
Perhaps. Yeah. And some stuff maybe like The Girl Who Leapt Through Time or The Wolf Children.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some good anime like equalities there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, this is the worldwide grossing anime film of all time with $331 million.
That's pretty good for, I guess, mainstream anime.
Yeah, which is surprising. And it's based on the director's book, the director being Makoto Shinkai, I believe. I highly recommend this to everyone.
Yes, and I'm glad to hear that. I'll quickly mention the fact that a lot of people have been very negative towards this film.
Yeah.
For various of reasons that are very strange to me, simply based on the idea that one or two people have mentioned the fact that they have not liked it, and therefore other people who have, I guess, been caught up within its hype have then used that as ammunition to say, hey, it's not as good as you think it is because these two people said they didn't like it. When it's only two people's opinions. Now, whether or not Ace talking about this film has interested you or not is up to you. Don't let anyone tell you how to think or persuade you away from a film, except for our Suicide Squad review, which obviously you need to go listen to, and you need to learn about everything to do with that film.
Yeah, that review is perfect, and I'll never hear otherwise.
And it will not have any dislikes, and if there is, I will find them.
There's one.
Oh, I'm working on it.
We're going to track you down. No.
We're finding you.
Yeah, we're obviously joking.
Sleep tight for now. No.
But yeah, I highly recommend it.
I'm looking forward to it too.
So, Raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been up to?
Mainly just getting rid of some films out the way and just trying to watch as much as I can. I was going to almost beat Fire Emblem Conquest, but it was pissing me off, so I didn't. But I did watch a few films. The first film I'm going to talk about real quick is, of two, which you did lend me, which have been on my list for a good while. The first being The Host, the 2006 version, not the 2010 version, which is just absolute trash. Do not watch it.
It's based on the Twilight Ladies book.
And it's garbage.
Yeah.
Hot garbage. The Host, which is I believe...
South Korean.
South Korean, yes. I was going to say Indonesian. No, South Korean horror, thriller / comedy film, which that aspect alone took me by surprise because its cold opening has no hinting towards that.
Yeah.
Even the first 15 minutes, as traumatic and horrific as it could be viewed, has no hint towards that until after events happen. But this is a very, very classic, a very smart and a very good film, which I really enjoyed, and I'm happy I finally got to see, and I'm happy that the director has gone on to do more things and has had a lot more exposure in terms of Hollywood. And he definitely seems to be one of those directors who, I think, not to sound pretentious or anything, that the real critics are actually going, oh yeah, but his film is good, and oh, but what about him, and oh, actually I credit him as a good director, because he's done some good stuff if you look at his work. I can't remember his name right now, but he did films like Mother and First. And there's another film I can't wait, has that really like freaky like front cover with like The Chase or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember it as of right now, but it was a really good film. I really liked the way it went. I liked his blending of comedy and drama, and I guess you could say horror as well, and it just all worked.
It's a surprising mix as well, how it works.
Yeah, because one scene in particular, very early on, I wasn't necessarily too sure how to react to it, but then as I kind of realised how the film was going, I was like, oh yes, this is still kind of a comedy, once again, despite the horrific nature of what is going on.
Yeah.
But it's a really good film that definitely... it's one of those films as well that you could definitely see a lesser director messing up so many times. It's extremely competent, this film.
I agree. I would hate an American remake.
We did talk about this, and I really hope that they don't do it.
Same.
But looking at how hungry or thirsty Hollywood is, they probably will, because they are just... I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, once the books run out, and... Because, I mean, the new thing is now video games, anime. Let's do live adaptations of that. Next, they're going to go back to remaking every Japanese, Indonesian, Asian film that they can get their hands on, because it's not an English show. We have to remake it. And, oh, the special effects don't look good, so we have to remake it. Film still looks better in terms of special effects than a lot of other films I've seen in a while. which is a massive shame. The next film which you lent me to borrow, which has also been on my list ever since I watched the 2016, maybe classic, maybe someday, Everybody Wants Some, from Richard Linklater. I watched his first film, which was that of a spiritual successor to Everybody Wants Some, which is Dazed and Confused, which is an 80s film, which is definitely a coming of age, definitely kind of paints a picture of that time during America, during that era, excuse me. And it's a fantastic film that definitely focuses on characters and comedy, and it's definitely one which I'd highly recommend, especially if you've seen Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
It's been one of my favourites for a few years. I love it so much. It captures that teen spirit, whether you're young teenager or older.
And not necessarily even if you're American or not. I think it could definitely talk to other people who have been in that kind of situation. And I'm sure I think it's just above cult status, because I think it is a fairly famous film.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend it if you are of the age. It's really strong. The other film we quickly mentioned, because we're not going to talk too briefly about it, was La La Land. If you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. We did a review and discussion on it if you want to hear our extended thoughts on it, so definitely go and see, listen to that, I should definitely say. The other thing I watched was the whole series of Space Patrol Luluco, which is a really fantastic, short and sweet and simple anime that basically follows Luluco, who lives in an extraordinary place within the universe, and she pretty much becomes a part of the Space Patrol unit, which is essentially in charge of keeping law and order within the universe via aliens. And it's a fantastically stupid anime that is essentially the creator and Trigger and Gainax having an excuse to reference as many of their products as they can and do whatever the hell they want to for about 13 episodes, which equates to about less than 4 hours. So it's a really short watch. So I haven't done it enough justice because I really don't want to spoil anything to do with its aesthetic. But I would just watch it, honestly. If you've seen Gurren Lagann, Killer the Kill, FLCL, Panty and Stocking, or Dead Leaves, or anything like that, definitely go watch this anime. It's fantastic.
I have seen quite a bit of it. I wouldn't say I've seen all of it, but I have enjoyed all the bits I have seen. It is extremely fun.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool. Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's not going to take you too long to watch, so I would highly recommend that. And that was pretty much what we've been doing over the next 2 weeks. I will probably end up beating Conquest, so I'll talk about that in further details, and I'll probably have watched some more films. And obviously, there's a big film coming out next week, which we're going to mention on this podcast, but we're going to do a video on, which we absolutely can't wait for. But let's not talk about the future so much. Let's talk about the now. Yeah. And I believe you have the first story, which is something that happened just after we recorded the last podcast. Yeah,
so just recently it was confirmed that Scalebound was cancelled, the Microsoft Xbox One exclusive title. Microsoft had come out and said, after careful deliberation, Microsoft Studios has come to a decision to end production for Scalebound. We're working hard to deliver an amazing lineup of games to our fans this year, including Halo Wars 2, Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, and other great experiences. This was in a statement to Polygon.
Yes, the spokesperson came out and said that after the news pretty much broke, which is very unfortunate because Scalebound was a game which was coming from Platinum Games, who are known for making such other video games as Bayonetta, Vanquish. Some of their more recent titles would be
Wonderful 101.
Wonderful 101. They did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, something in Manhattan. They did the Transformers Devastation game. Some of the newer stuff, and they also are currently working on Nier Automatum. That's how you say it, right? Automatum.
Yeah.
I said Ultimatum, didn't I? Yeah. They're working on that game, which is a PS4 exclusive. We'll kind of get back to that in a sec. And it's such a shame because I think no one was really expecting it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Microsoft, and it's very rare for such a big company to kind of be like, we're cancelling this big AAA game. Yeah. To come out of the blue, out of nowhere, is incredibly strange.
See, funny enough, I actually did some research on this because when it did come out of nowhere, I was very, very confused.
Yes.
And from what I had found out, if you remember, it was only ever shown at 2 conferences.
Yeah.
One in, I think, about 2014, and then there was Gamescom in 2016, which was in August. After that, around September, they had stopped posting any updates to Twitter at all on Scalebound. Completely disappeared. Then the YouTuber Liam Robertson, who is known as the video game history guy. He himself had done some research, and he had been in contact with people working at Scalebound. He has his inside sources, and he does this a lot for his content, in which he found out that there was development problems between Hideki Kamiya
Yes.
and Microsoft. And if you know anything about Hideki Kamiya, he's a very strong-willed person.
Yes, very much so.
He wants to make something, he will make it. It doesn't even matter if something like 14101, where in the last few months of development or something, he'll just throw in a new gameplay mechanic.
Yeah.
Because he wants to.
He's very much off the wall, and he is, I think it's also fair to say, he's very much a old school kind of game developer, where he will just kind of just do it, and he'll work around limitations in order to make it work. Even if it might necessarily not work at the time, he will do it.
Yeah.
A lot of Japanese developers are very much like that. I would, if you want to hear a kind of very similar situation, I would definitely look up the history process in which Team Silent did in order to make the Silent Hill games. Such dedication is a word that could be used to describe teams like them.
And if you do look at the second, like the Gamescom showing of Scalebound, it had introduced a completely new mechanic, which was the 4-player co-op, as far as it's shown. Now, considering A, the game is run at 60 FPS, and B, that you're not only going to have 4 player characters running around, you're also going to have 4 dragons. That would be a massive hog on resources. So it would have taken a long time to make sure it runs properly. Microsoft, from what I'm guessing, didn't want that. They wanted it released sooner.
Yeah, I mean, we can somewhat speculate as to why the game was cancelled, but I think I've not really heard any of this information that you've provided, but we'll put it in the description and download link. But it is very interesting, and it ties into a few things I was going to say as to why this game was cancelled, because for a lot of people, this was a big one. This is a game a lot of people were looking forward to because it looked awesome. It's very strange for Microsoft to make a game that is considered awesome because they don't. I mean, just looking back at the games which they laughably said, what was the quote? I mean, I'm trying to find the amazing lineup of games.
Halo Wars 2, which I don't think many people wanted another
No
Halo
one
Wars.
wanted a Halo Wars 2. Everyone wanted a Halo 5? Is 5 out?
I think 5 came out. Wasn't that the one with Nathan Fillion?
I don't know.
Halo 5 Guardians.
I couldn't be bothered to look it up.
Crackdown 3, which has completely disappeared off the face of the
That's
earth.
cancelled.
Probably.
That is cancelled.
State of Decay 2, which was the zombie game, I think.
It was the zombie game where you kill zombies.
Yeah.
You know, that memorable game, right?
Yeah. Sea of Thieves, which I very little about.
This is essentially Rare finally making a game after 50 years that actually... Where Microsoft actually lets them play a game, but knowing Microsoft as of right now, they're probably going to cancel the game because it's taking too long to make.
Yeah.
The game's been around for about 2 years, and guess what? It's a multiplayer game where you can play with 4 people on the same screen at the same time as pirates.
That runs at 60 FPS, then they're probably not going to want it.
I don't know if that one will survive.
Yeah, and I would like to point out that since then, Microsoft has simultaneously deleted all references to Scalebound from its website and any trailers or videos of it from its channel. Yeah.
They should have just not said anything about it then.
They still own the IP to it, which is an issue.
Which is unfortunate, because that was my first question, is who owns it, because... I mean, another developer could easily pick it up, and I think that's what Microsoft is very well aware, because they don't want anyone to do that, because Sony will do it immediately.
Which is extremely unfortunate, because what I found out is Hideki Kamiya has wanted to make this game since before he made Bayonetta.
Yeah, it was a real passion project, and it's very unfortunate that someone has obviously crushed that.
Yeah.
For the most part, out of, I'm going to guess and say, somewhat selfish needs, because... it's not even the fact that Microsoft was making this game, it was the fact they had someone else making it. And that kind of brings us to my main point. I guess you could say the real reason why I think this game was cancelled, and that's because the two developers just can't get along.
Yeah.
Platinum just wanted to create a massive game, a AAA game, and to have the backing of Microsoft to basically say, you can make this game, you can make this game, is amazing for anyone who works in the industry.
Yeah.
But Microsoft wanted another rushed game to meet a deadline, and because there was so many limitations for them to work around, they just thought it'd be easier just to cancel a game instead of, I don't know, let them work on it for another year or so.
Yeah.
Really get that bestseller, because as of right now, Microsoft doesn't really have a bestseller.
No.
What is Xbox One memorable for? Looking like a VHS player? That's about it, really.
It's basically known for Forza, and that's it.
It's basically known for Forza and Halo. I mean,
Halo's gone down the drain.
Ever since 4,
Yeah.
3, whatever.
3 was... It was the last okay or good Halo
Either way, Halo's lost its way because it's just turned into absolute rubbish. The only 3 games I ever wanted to buy for the X1 was Ori and the Blind Forest, Cuphead, which has disappeared, most likely cancelled, and Scalebound.
Yeah.
Oh, it's taking too long.
Yeah.
It's 3 years.
For me, there was a Recall and We Happy Few as well.
That'll be on PS4 soon.
When it is, I'll be happy.
Both of them will be on PS4. Nothing's exclusive on the Xbox. Nothing is.
I will look.
The only thing that exclusive is like Quantum Leap.
Oh yeah, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break.
Yeah.
Go watch Quantum Leap. It's a great show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know Dead Rising 4 is a timed exclusive.
Yeah. But no one wants that anyway.
No one wants that rubbish. Which is a massive shame because this was a game like I said, a lot of people really looking forward to, and for it to be suddenly cancelled out of nowhere is incredibly distressing for anyone who bought an Xbox One, because a lot of people, like you said before we recorded, bought the Xbox One for that game.
Yeah, that was their system seller, and now that they don't have it, people are probably going to get rid of their Xbox One.
Microsoft has essentially made themselves worthless by doing this. And it's fine if we're not trying to say, oh yeah, well that was the end all game to get for the Microsoft to get, but at the same time that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And what is Platinum doing right now? They're making Nier Ultimatum.
Yeah.
They're making that game, and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot if that game is the bestseller for Sony.
Yeah.
They're really going to shoot themselves. I mean, when even Activision are able to note how successful and how well Platinum Games can make games, and even they're able to mooch off their success, you messed up.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't care what other excuses they're going to come out and say, whether they're going to talk about Hideki Kojima was being unfair, or they wanted too much money, or this and that. It doesn't matter. It's Microsoft. You have endless money. If you really care about your franchises, your system, if you even want to even attempt to even stand up against Sony, even Nintendo, who is kicking your ass, you should try. And that's the thing, you're not trying. Shall we go back to those games again? What's the thing they all have in common? Sequels,
and the fact that we haven't seen anything about them in ages.
These games are all dead. I mean, granted, they put a trailer up for Halo Wars 2, but like I said...
I didn't even know that.
Exactly, like we said, no one cares about Halo Wars 2. People want the next Halo game.
Yeah.
And even then, there's probably like a few million of those people.
And then, even when it comes to Halo Wars, like, it might be a fine RTS, I haven't played it, but there are other RTSs out there that people like more. People would probably play StarCraft instead.
Yeah, people didn't want a reboot of Crackdown.
Yeah.
People liked Crackdown 1 and 2. And by the way, I'm saying reboot. Yeah, this is a reboot of Crackdown. They just called it 3 for some
probably
bizarre
a soft
reason.
reboot. Yeah,
it is a soft reboot. State of Decay 2, short, whatever, and Sea of Thieves looks rubbish to me.
So yeah,
it's a real shame. But you know what? If they want to burn, let them burn.
Yeah,
I ain't giving them my money.
I'll be excited for any Switch titles coming out.
I'll be excited for the X1 closing party.
Jeez.
So that's just on the horizon.
You mean when the Scorpio comes out?
Whatever the Scorpio is, I don't understand what that is.
It's just Xbox 1.5. That's literally it. Because it can do VR.
More like 0.5.
Yeah.
Because they still ain't finished the fucking thing. Same with Sony.
Yeah.
Sure, we give Microsoft some slack, but Sony is almost as bad.
PlayStation Pro is not needed.
PlayStation 4 is garbage. Do not buy it.
Exactly.
Do not buy it for more than £50.
It's kind of a paperweight most of the time. I've got enough games on it, but I'd rather more.
Absolute rubbish. Don't bother with it. Okay, moving on to the next story. We got more somewhat gaming, somewhat business. Oh, we're going to get real boring on this one. No, we're only joking. And that is the fact that Facebook and ZeniMax have essentially gone to court over the VR/Oculus Rift. And this is took my attention particularly based on the idea. Now we're going to kind of get somewhat lengthy here, and we're going to get somewhat quotacious here. So essentially, from the 17th of January, Mark Zuckerberg is going to be in court against ZeniMax over the claims that the Oculus technology is stolen. ZeniMax, is suing Oculus/Facebook for $2 billion. As ZeniMax's argument is based on the suggestion that John Carmack, who is the famed game developer who worked with id Software, creating games like Doom and Castle Wolfenstein, really revolutionized the idea of 3D games. So he definitely is a big name, and if you're not necessarily into games, he's definitely someone worth looking up.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened was, it seems, or what they're claiming, is that he was working with ZeniMax from about 2009 to 2013 when ZeniMax bought ID Software, which is the company he founded, and he left to go join Oculus. It seems as though while he was, at some point, he was working for both companies, which is a bit interesting. And this is where it gets a bit... Sorry, I have to scroll through all this because there's been so many developments which we're kind of going to get into there for a sec. But essentially what they're saying is that he essentially took the files that that ZeniMax was working on for VR and gave them to Oculus, and then Oculus beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
That's what they're essentially claiming. I know there's a quote where he says he never returned those files or all those copies of them after the employment with ZeniMax was terminated, which is interesting, which I could understand that actually happening, because when you're... Because I'd imagine he must have left out of just sheer anger that his life just got bought out for 400 million, which is a bit distressing. I don't think he necessarily did this out of spite, though. I think it was just a case of, I'm going to take my work with me. Fuck you all. And yeah, so that's essentially what they're going over to court. What they're going to court against is to essentially say that, you know, we own this first, we own that first, and all that kind of rubbish. I know an Oculus spokesperson has told the BBC saying, we're eager to present our case for the court case, and I know Mark Zuckerberg has been somewhat very braggadocious, talking about how it's a bit, would you say, how it's a bit unfair that, you know, someone's trying to mooch off their success or just trying to get in there. And I know there was a very interesting quote which he's only just said of recently regarding ZeniMax, and he says, like most people in the court, I've never heard of ZeniMax before.
Wow.
Very, very high and mighty.
Yeah.
Right there.
I mean, I know of ZeniMax because they're in Bethesda.
Yeah.
And you see ZeniMax on any, like, Elder Scrolls or Fallout products.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know them.
I mean, he's also said it's pretty common when you announce a big deal or do something that all kinds of people just... all kinds of people just kind of, because he's kind of talking like a normal person, come out of the woodworks and claim that they own some portion of the deal. You know, like most people in the courts, I've never heard of ZeniMax before. You know, that was kind of his opening statement, as if to say, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Some random people just trying to claim they own VR, or they claim they own Oculus. And...
Great rebuttal, Mark Zuckerberg. And considering what I found out about you through the film Social Network and actual history of how you basically shafted your friends when it came to the Facebook in general, that's great work.
Yeah, I mean, he's also kind of argued as well that ZeniMax was slow to appreciate the potential of VR, and that it was Oculus' own work that made it a valuable technology in its today.
It's not valuable technology today. It's
as of right now, no.
It's in infancy.
It's very piss poor conditions, and it's very weak. I mean, VR has like at least a minimum about 10 years before it's even credited as something that becomes an industry standard at this point.
Yeah.
But I find this court case interesting. I find the situation interesting because it's not someone you would necessarily expect to be saying, oh, we collect VR. I was maybe expecting Microsoft or TLC to be like, no, we own the patent for it, you know, as it always comes out with. But at the same time, I couldn't care less who wins. I'm
just interested to see developments and find out what's happening. That's really it.
Yeah, to me, it's like two kids fighting over the same copy of a comic book. The only reason why they're fighting over this one is because this was the first one ever printed. Yeah. It's nothing. It's really nothing to really honestly argue about. Yeah. And I mean, Mark is being an arse as I don't know. Yeah, I guess as usual.
Yeah. And from what I've seen, ZeniMax haven't been doing anything stupid with their claim.
No, because, I mean, okay, it's fine. Okay, it's nice that Mark is being very confident in himself. That's fine. If he came out going, oh, I don't know if we'll win, then obviously that shows that he might be lying. But, I mean, yeah, sure. I think he has every right to be confident. He has trust in his company. He has faith. That's fine. He needs to calm down a little bit because this could go either way.
Yeah, exactly.
This could go either way. He could lose $2 billion. He could lose this industry marvel.
Yeah, and a lot of court cases have changed on a dime, so you need to be careful.
I mean, simply put, ZeniMax could easily have footage of John Carmack stealing that stuff. Yeah. And then it's all gravy.
Or just in general, the actual footage or mechanical I'm trying to think of the right, like actual manufacturing standards
Yeah.
for the work.
ZeniMax could have their copyright could be somewhere within Oculus's system. They could have
Blueprints.
exactly very easily. I mean, like we said, we don't really care who wins. It'll be interesting to see who does win. Either way, Oculus is not going to ruin my life.
No.
I'm not going to let it.
I don't care much about Oculus, and this is the most I care.
I'll let you guys into an industry secret. The only reason Mark Zuckerberg / Facebook bought Oculus is because he thought it was going to be new technology, and it's only a way in order for him to keep advertising to the masses.
Yeah.
Facebook is just an advertisement right now, and no one uses Facebook anymore. Twitter is the biggest platform. I mean,
Twitter is even used for actual news and quotations.
Exactly. Here's an interesting thing to think about. Donald Trump, he has a Twitter, and that is his main source of getting his opinion out there. Yeah. Not Facebook, Twitter, the president.
Yeah, President Obama was the first one to have a Twitter.
Yeah.
And that just shows how Twitter is in like modern current usage.
It is the biggest social platform.
Yeah.
And that's why they've been banning people.
Yeah. They're doing a smart job there.
Oh yeah, getting rid of certain people which don't really need to be mentioned right now because I refuse to speak his name. But yeah, we'll see how this develops. If anything does actually come of this, we'll definitely be the first to let you know. As you can probably guess, if this is your first podcast, we don't care much for VR. We think it's a waste of time in terms of marketing, advertising, and gaming, and we think it should be put to better uses like
education,
medicine, and other beneficial factors that would actually help benefit mankind instead of slow it down.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we need, is another way or another distraction from gaming. And I'm not going to try and go all hippie as oh man, it's just a blind,
Yeah.
No. It's rubbish, honestly.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move away from boring stuff, I guess you could say. But it's important. It's important, guys. You need to know about this kind of stuff. And let's talk about some trailers. We've got two for you, both horror-related. And the first one is the official trailer for XX.
Yes.
Which is going to be an anthology series from about 4 stories from, I believe it's 4 or 5 directors. Now, the title actually is a reference to the fact that all 5 directors are female.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. Or maybe it's a reference to that one bizarre situation where 2 chromosomes equal something very strange. 2 X chromosomes equal something strange, but I don't know.
Are you calling women strange?
No. I'm talking about the chromosome equation for how the genetic makeup for how people are made, basically, because it's a 50-50 chance, guys.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know. So
Double
hopefully
X or XY.
Yeah, pretty much you need one of each or whatever. Well, yeah, you always need the female one no matter what happens. But yeah, it should be very interesting because I love anthology series and this one looks fairly original, so I'm really hoping it's good. One of the directors is Saint Vincent, who is a music artist, so that should be very interesting to see her take on horror and film, seeing as she hasn't really dipped into that. I don't know if she's directed any of her music videos, which are all very strange for the most part.
Okay.
But it should be interesting to see the whole film regardless. I mean, it's got its own style and it looks pretty creepy and it doesn't look generic. Like, I'm not seeing, here's the vampire story, here's the serial killer story. It's just not being presented like that for the most part.
I'm not seeing cheap scares. I'm not seeing the same kind of thing that Hollywood is ridiculously producing.
I'm seeing more of the scare is coming from the creepiness of the concept. Like, for example, there is one scene in the trailer where the doctor's talking to the kid and he's like, oh, if you don't eat, you'll die. And the kid's like, so?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fairly unsettling for a child of that age to be like, I don't give a damn if I die.
Yeah. It's getting to Goosebump level territory.
Almost. That's season 2? What? No. But yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I'm hoping they show it in cinemas. I highly doubt they are going to, but hopefully we get a DVD release. I'd just like to see what's going to happen in this film because it looks pretty cool. It's good to give films like this a shout or a mention and hopefully support them if they are good because, like I said, I love anthologies, especially horror anthologies.
Same. When I actually found out this was an anthology from the trailer, I was like, I'm more interested. I mean, even if, let's say, 2 of the stories are bad and 1's good, I've still got 1 good rather than an hour, 50 minutes of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to do a anthology that becomes one good film. The only one that's really successfully done it is Trick or Treat. Or Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
basically because that film is a film that has anthologies in it. So
Exactly.
it basically focuses on different stories and follows one character. But we won't spoil that. Definitely
Yeah.
go see that film if you must.
It's by the same people who did Krampus.
Yes, exactly. So that's something at least if
Yeah.
you've seen Krampus, which you all should.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas is coming up. No, it's too early for Christmas right now. But yeah, it's I can't wait for this film.
Same.
Like I said, I hopefully maybe there's a, if anything, hopefully there's a very short run, not short run, but fast release for the DVD, if anything, because I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Ace, I believe you have the
So-
next trailer.
Next we have the film Raw, which its original French name, as it's a French-Belgian horror film, is called Grave. It's been shown off at many festivals like Cannes and Toronto. But the interesting thing I want to say before I talk about it is that during Toronto Film Festival, they apparently had to have medical services because people had fainted while watching the film's graphic scenes.
Yeah, I've heard people were very sick during this, and that's exactly what I was going to mention as well. That it's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no evidence of that as
Yeah.
of now, but I could understand actually looking at the visuals of this trailer. I think
Yes.
before we actually talk about the trailer, we'll mention if you are quite queasy to,
Or
I guess,
squeamish. Yeah.
I would recommend maybe not watching the trailer
Yeah.
just in case, just for your own good, but that's up to you, that's your choice.
But if you have a fetish for being eaten alive, you'll probably love this.
You're talking to like, what, 3 people?
Yeah, 3
If
people
those
in the
3
world.
people even listen to this podcast, to which if they say, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so the film is about a vegetarian college student who gets kind of initiated into this cannibal, like, college group
cult
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
And just from the visuals itself, this looks like it actually had me feeling a bit squeamish, which doesn't happen.
It didn't make me like squealish, mainly
Yeah.
because I'm very heartless and cold.
So am I. That's why it felt weird for me. So yeah,
It looked like
intrigued.
it definitely there could be some squeamish moments for some people.
Yeah.
It did look like it was especially very well shot, and the one thing I like about it, other than the fact that it's a pretty awesome idea, the fact that this vegetarian is now turning into a cannibal,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I like the fact that it is pretty cool, and the fact that it's most likely going to piss off a lot of people.
Yes.
Because whether
Yeah.
there is some kind of social commentary in it is very interesting, because naturally, obviously, a vegetarian eating meat or human flesh isn't going to turn them into a cannibal.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been no records of that. People still kind of can't explain cannibalism. It's just something that happens.
It's a weird thing, and it messes with your head because of the chemicals in the human skin.
Yes.
It's not right.
No, it's not right, and it is an interesting topic. I'm pretty sure it'll be definitely better than the Green Inferno, because that film was trash.
I didn't watch that. I
Don't
avoided
bother.
that like the
Don't
plague.
bother. It's rubbish. Don't bother with that film. It's rubbish. But I'm looking forward to it.
Same. I'm very intrigued.
Hopefully, once again we do get a cinema release, because like I
Yeah.
said on the previous podcast, we kind of get gyffed when it comes to releases.
Yeah, unless it's like a film festival or it's basically only being shown in the Prince Charles. That's
Or
basically
London, and even then they'll
Yeah.
show it for like 1 week, and then it's
Yeah.
gone. Well, you're gonna have to wait for the DVD now.
And it's 2 times a day, and that's it.
2 times a day, and you have to be a female
It's not that exclusive.
within the age of 28 to 30.
Or you got to be an old man, 64 to 70.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the criteria.
Yeah.
This is why the film industry in England isn't as strong,
Yeah,
because of silly things like that. But yeah, we really need more smaller films in cinema, and we need to get people to see these films whether they're good or not,
yeah,
because that kind of support helps
exactly.
small directors and that.
Support to indie like filmmakers or smaller studios in which they can actually come up with inventive original ideas or even film styles. Always welcome.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so happy Mr. Robot took off. That
Oh.
had some unique film style.
Yeah, I think that show deserved to, especially the cast.
Yeah, definitely.
They needed a lot more attention, I would definitely say. But that's pretty much going to be it for trailers, but not the end of our main, I guess, kind of topics, because we got one more. And we could kind of call this one the goofy, dumb one if you want to. But basically, essentially, the upcoming TV series that's going to be debuting on Sky Arts called Urban Myths has essentially cancelled its Michael Jackson episode. Now, you're probably wondering why exactly and what
Yeah.
the hell was Urban Myths. So, apparently, I've known about this for a while, and I know that Joseph Fenning would be playing Michael Jackson in this comedy show, which essentially tells true stories about celebrities, but it's kind of not true. It's kind of played for comedic effects or whatever. I knew this would be happening, and obviously the first thing people said was, well, actually, no, well, let's not get to the obvious just yet. But essentially, after seeing the trailer, the show looks crap.
Yeah.
And
it looks like a dumb comedy.
Joseph looks like a rubbish Michael Jackson, and it's not even the fact that he's white. It's simply the fact that the one thing that pisses me off is the fact that they're treating Michael Jackson as they're insinuating that he was always a joke.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. They've kind of got to the point where it's like, oh no, let's only focus on the time when he was acting crazy, because that's what people know Michael Jackson for. He was crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he was always white, right?
Yeah.
And he always did these stupid things, and he had that really dumb, high-pitched voice.
Yeah. Which isn't a true reflection of him at all, and it's almost like bottom of the barrel to go for that kind of stuff.
Pretty much, and I can understand. Unsurprisingly, people didn't really like this.
Yeah.
I think people also really didn't like the show, but it's people didn't like his their interpretation, and it looks really dumb, especially his oldest daughter, Paris Jackson, who I was going to read the tweets, but I can't find them. They've been deleted for whatever reason.
I'm pretty sure that would have been the Jackson family who suggested that. I'm not sure, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, I think they've been taken out, but essentially, if I remember correctly, she said something along the lines of, it's a bit of a shame that you didn't even consider us or consulting us about this, and then once they had cancelled it, she said, oh, it's fairly nice that you would have at least considered us now to actually remove it. But essentially what Sky Sports says, we have taken the decision not to broadcast Elizabeth, Michael and Monroe's episode, essentially, a 30-minute episode of Sky Arts Urban Mysteries, as they tweeted, essentially saying, this decision was taken in light of the concerns expressed by Michael Jackson's immediate family. We set out to take a light-hearted look at the reportedly true events of the never intended to cause Jackson's daughter, among other people, harm and offend other people, essentially. So it is very interesting that they actually listened to people, because it wasn't just them, it was a lot of people going, this looks shit, this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do kind of hope that they do show the episode in some sense, because I think it is a bit unfair to not show it based on the people who were really looking forward to this episode or wanted to see the show.
That's me. In general, I am happy that they obviously they'd realised they had annoyed people, especially family members. But I think there's a problem when you are cancelling your own stuff because of something dumb. Like, I mean, it is your show. I mean,
the dumb thing is also their content.
Yeah. The content is dumb in general.
Yeah,
there's always dumb content out there. You might even say like the South Park episodes that focused on Michael Jackson are dumb.
Yeah,
but they still showed them.
Yeah,
it's your content. You worked on it. You show it. People are going to review it badly. Just let it go.
Yeah, just deal with it. I think they stick it on the DVD or something like that. I know. With the film Bruno, Sacha Baron Cohen's film, there was going to be a scene with Janet Jackson in it, but he cut it last minute because of his Jackson's untimely death, but he still put it on the DVD as a bonus feature, just for anyone who wants to see it.
Exactly, yeah.
Do something like that. Put it on the DVD.
And I know many TV shows have showed stuff out of order. I think Supergirl did this. They showed one episode out of order because it had something to do with a cafe being attacked, and I think that week there was that attack in France. So they showed it out of order, but obviously on DVD release, they still have the episode. Well, because, sensitivity issues.
Yeah,
obviously.
There's, no one's really going to call you a heartless monster if you at least give people the option.
Yeah.
And as of right now, they're just limiting the option.
Exactly.
Which is fine. I still think I hope more people do this, because, I mean, Sky Sports has essentially dodged a very big bullet right here, which was a very smart thing to do. But other people like Fox, who just love to have people complain at them and call them racist because they are racist, they should take note. I'm not saying the next Thor film comes out, no, I don't like the fact this character's black, change it, and then Marvel goes, okay, fine, we'll change the actor to be white as soon as you like white people in your... No, I'm not saying do that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is at least listen to your audience, because they're the ones who give you the money at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily speaking of money, but yeah, I guess we could say that. Let's move on to our main discussion, which is essentially going to be about Nintendo Switch's Direct for the 13th of January 2017. We finally got more information on the Switch, Nintendo's next upcoming platform. We got a ton of information, almost too much, to the point where we're not going to cover it all, because
No,
No,
that would be ridiculous.
we're not going to. It'll be ridiculous. But the main things we'll kind of get to is the fact that its price has been revealed, which for us within England is going to be £250 for over in America and some other.
Was it 250? I thought it was 280
for us.
I thought it was 280 for us.
Or is our money that bad now?
No, it's nothing to do with that. It's just pricing in general. Like 250 was an estimation I made a while back, but I think it was 280 for us. It's 250 to 280, somewhere around there.
Something like that, but I hope it's 250 because I ain't got that much money right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be released March 3rd, so it is literally just around the corner.
Yeah.
Holy damn. But more importantly, we have to talk about what really makes a system, what really makes a gaming console, and that's the games that were announced. This was the one thing everyone was kind of, I was about to say salivating, but I guess you could say that.
Yeah, a lot of people were. A lot of people were just sitting there, waiting to see something.
Where is it?
Yeah, so
Where is it?
They showed us another trailer for Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Start with this one first, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 3-minute 30-ish trailer.
Yep.
Which quite long, and it was less showing gameplay because they've already shown a ton, and more little story elements, showing more characters, and it's got that heart of adventure to it. It still has that. It doesn't look like any story bits are going to be intrusive, as we've already seen from gameplay.
Yeah.
So
it didn't say much, and that's good. It didn't spoil too much, other than like leaving some hints and stuff like that.
And Calamity Jane's changed her name to Calamity Ganon, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, I really hope Ganon's not in this game.
Well, he's basically in every game except for Majora's Mask.
And that's why Majora's Mask is the best game.
Yeah, exactly.
Simply put, I don't care. You want to fight me? Come on then.
Yeah.
You know what the email is. raccoonplus@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's in the description. But I mean, the game still looks cool. It was nice to see that the story will hopefully be good or interesting or go more into this world, environment, settings. One thing I want to mention is I like the fact that there's like bird people in this game. It's like Cross, who's like a bird who plays an accordion.
Yeah.
Which is cool. He's based on that Crossawary bird.
I can never
one that will
pronounce
just kill you, basically.
The terrifying ostrich-looking monster, because Australia hates people.
Yeah, Australia's like, I'm going to keep all these people out.
Yeah.
Whitey, you gonna die.
Jeez.
That's probably their mentality in some sense, but we are joking. Because originally I thought, because he played a harmonica, I thought he was a reference to the English punk band Crass.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't think that's the case, because you've listened to one of their songs and you're like, oh, that's not Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to the song Penis Envy, kids. But I'm looking forward to it still. I don't really care too much about Zelda that much, but I would be happy to play a good game. The other thing I would say is I hope that because there's bird people in this, you can fly, and because the world is so big, I hope that's a thing.
Well, considering from that there is fast travel and the flying in Skyward Sword was horrible, I don't think they're going to have flying.
But I mean more in the sense of like,
I mean, there's already hang gliding.
Your bird friends are going to pick you up or stuff like that.
I don't think that's going to be in there. They've shown hang gliding, so that's probably the max. Yeah.
I guess it just seems a bit weird to me that there are other characters who have given you stuff in previous Zelda games and the birds ain't giving me jack shit.
He might give you something like maybe boots that have like wings on them so you can run faster, which I believe have been in previous Zelda games, like 2D ones.
That could work, I guess. I mean, obviously this is not something that's going to make or break my experience.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Just wondering, honestly. Yeah. But that's cool, though. Let's move on to probably the most disappointing thing that was kind of announced, and that's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is essentially the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC from the previous Mario Kart, which was on the Wii U.
Which means the YouTuber Dashi is going to be playing a million more games of this.
I hope not.
Unfortunately. I know he probably doesn't want to, but his fans are going to make him do it.
Yeah, the YouTuber Dashi XP Games is a YouTuber I do enjoy, but the amount of times he keeps playing Mario Kart is very frustrating.
Yeah, because his fans request it, and he's nice like that.
I mean, his fans are like between the age of 10 and 12, but and they love to see Mario Kart for some reason. But then at the same time, there's other games where they just don't give a damn about.
And they're good games.
They're good games. Should I play Mario Kart or Homestuck? No, let's play Mario Kart again.
But yeah, obviously Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is introducing some new elements.
A few, like 2.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, which is the male and female Inkling from Splatoon, and actual battle stages for the battle mode on maps and that. which is fine. I honestly
Yeah.
don't care about Mario Kart right now because I'm so burnt out on it,
Yeah.
and it's not really doing anything new. It's just if you never played Mario Kart on the Wii U, which is a bit strange because it's a very successful selling
Yeah.
game, you can play the deluxe version, I guess.
Yeah, which at least they're doing a like re-release on a console better by actually including something extra.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess. I mean,
That's
it doesn't really destroy the experience of the previous game, so
Yeah.
whatever. Next game, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So we got shown the trailer for Splatoon 2, which I was very happy for because I only got to play Splatoon, I think, for the channel,
Yeah.
which I want to play more.
We need to return.
Yeah, exactly. We really do need to. And I was happy to see this because I want to get a Switch. New abilities such as the jetpack, which looks very much like Flood from Super Mario Sunshine,
Yeah.
which I was very happy about because I loved that game.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of mortar super cannon kind
Yes,
of thing,
that was great.
which just massive suppressing fire all over the map. That looked really interesting.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Yeah. So
They should add that into the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe the cat will say that
Yeah,
on your team. We'll
But-
get them next time.
yeah. But I'm sure there'll probably be a few more extras as well. So
Oh, they're probably hiding a ton more things. I noticed there was like these Roomba kind of things you can set
Oh,
out. They also had
interesting.
like these like double spray guns as
Yeah.
well, which are kind of cool. I'm really happy that Nintendo has definitely picked up on Splatoon's popularity and
Yeah.
given it a sequel because it really deserved it because it was a great game.
exactly.
And I'm really looking forward to like seeing what they do. I mean, if they can kind of have another strong story like they kind of did hint at, like there's that Inkling who's like has his back
Yeah,
turned and it's like, oh, who's that? If they do something, I'm pretty sure he has story relevance. If they do something like that along with a stronger multiplayer, not there's anything wrong with the original,
Yeah.
and they just do everything right and add a lot more originality because it's the only thing that could hurt the game if it's just two.
yeah,
But I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. It's definitely,
definitely.
a must buy as it is a launch title, which is
Yeah.
great. It's great to see another original IP kind of become a massive part of Nintendo's legacy, which is
Yeah.
awesome to hear. Next, we have Xeno Chronicles 2. Actually surprised it's not a continuation of X.
Okay.
I guess Nintendo was like, oh. But yeah, more RPGs that are exclusive to Nintendo. Always good to have something that is at least trying to do something original.
Yeah.
Obviously, the re-release of Xeno Chronicles on the new 3DS did well, as well as Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was a Wii U game, which I still need to play. Did them well enough for them to be like, yeah, we're getting a sequel. Got to
Okay.
keep them original franchises going. It looks like it could be good. It's good to see the series is getting more love from Nintendo, and hopefully more people will give it enough love back, because I think the support is really there.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you'll kind of notice is there's definitely a lot of noticing of what people like.
Yeah.
Especially as we
yeah.
get towards the end of this kind of
Yeah.
discussion. And yeah, really can't wait for this one. They didn't really say much in the trailer, so we
it was
really
very
can't speak.
brief.
It was the most announcement
Yeah.
one out of them all. Next one.
Yeah, next we have ARMS, which, from what I've managed to gather, is I think you can play against, like, bots or whatever, or there's a story, but also co-op against people,
Yeah.
in which it's almost a hybrid shooter boxing game, in which you shoot/punch people with your kind of elastic arms.
Stretchy arms.
Yeah. It looks really interesting and fun, light-hearted.
Creative as well.
And I actually checked, and they have confirmed that you can play with motion controls, but you don't have to. It's entirely your choice.
Which is the right thing to do, honestly.
Exactly. Compared to some other games that probably should have had that on previous consoles.
I can see it being, because it seems as though it's going to have a lot of emphasis on timing and placement. It could be tricky for some people to really get into, and I don't think that they're going for the most hardcore audience of, oh my god,
no.
ARMS, Final Cup, challenge, who's going to win it,
And
that
then
kind
there's
of thing.
Topps Evo.
Yeah, ARMS at EVO
I mean, it's still
2017.
better than Street Fighter 5.
Oh, miles better, because it moves fast, that's why.
Exactly.
And the art style isn't ugly.
Doesn't have taffy hair for Ken.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if people really do get into this game, it could be big. It could be
Yeah.
a very enjoyable game. The only thing they need to do is they need to ensure that the game is not forgotten as a launch title.
Yeah.
And the one thing in which they can make sure that happens is they need a good campaign arcade story mode to really go, hey man, have you played story
Yeah.
mode of Armed because it teaches you how to play, and you can see all the characters, and
Like-
there's this really dumb plot about the scientist, and he's doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
We need some confirmation more on the actual content of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get upset if nothing is explained in the
Yeah.
game, because it is a game
Oh,
about
yeah.
people with stretchy arms that punch each other.
Yeah, we just need to know what modes there are, like if there is a single player.
Yeah.
If it's a fighting game, or if there's something more to just fighting.
Which I think it really needs
Yeah.
to, because if it is going to be a strictly multiplayer game, then it should be a very cheap or free or
Yeah.
smaller game, which I
Yeah.
don't think it is. You see the director, and he's like
Exactly.
he's freaking passionate, but
Yeah.
he loves this idea, and too right, because it's original.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. They could have just done a Punch Out, a new one.
Yeah, but they decided no, let's essentially turn Punch Out on its head
Yeah.
and twist it up a bit, I guess. And the announcement trailer was intense as hell.
Oh yeah, you had this like little kid punching out this other guy.
And he was a swing. He's like, I want to take my tie off. He's like, you want to fight? And he's
Exactly.
like, punch. Oh my gosh. That was some good stuff. Talking back to like JoJo Part 3 right there.
Yeah, which actually kind of relates to something next.
Okay. Oh yeah, oh sorry, I have this next one.
Yeah.
Sorry for the silence. And that is going to be the obligatory Mario game, which is Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Now, this is the brand new game. We did kind of see this in the initial reveal trailer of the Nintendo Switch.
Only a brief bit, and they were very subtle.
Very subtle indeed. And for the most part, I am really impressed with its overall look, and I love the fact that it's a combination of Mario 64 and Galaxy.
Exactly.
As I really hope that they can capture the spirit of those two games. I think that is a must for this game to be to stand out on its own compared to other Mario games.
And considering this is like the first open world Mario game, it's very interesting. Like we've got the open world Zelda and the open world Mario coming out on this console.
Where's my open world Pokemon?
Give me my open world Metroid. No, we need good level design for
Where's
that.
my open world F-Zero?
Oh my god, it could be like F-Zero
I don't
Death
want the
Race.
limitations of the tracks. I want to go everywhere in my ship.
I want to run down civilians.
Where's my open world Star Fox?
I want to jump out of my truck, like on my car, and Falcon punch people.
Where's my Mother 3? But yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, got a little angry there.
But they've showed a few gameplay updates, compared to previous games, which Mario can throw his hat and use that to jump on, or I presume as an attack.
Yeah.
Which looks very interesting.
The hat looks like it's alive somehow.
Yeah, it's got
would be
eyes.
Interesting to explain, but I'm guessing that's going to be like the real iconic selling
Yeah.
piece of the game, which is fine.
It's kind of like the hat from that one of the Zelda games.
Mishi Cap.
That's the one.
Yeah, GBA.
Minish Cap.
Minish
That was-
Cap.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great game. One of the hardest Zelda games.
Oh really?
Yes.
Okay.
Not because it's bad, it's just difficult, that's all.
All right.
But yes, I mean, the fact that the one thing I'm really impressed by is the worlds.
Yeah.
And the fact that Mario goes from essentially playing in New York
Yeah.
to then going to this very Mario-like level, which is all about like cooking and chefs and all that, and all the Koopas are dressed as chefs and they're throwing forks and food.
Yeah.
To then go to this really dark and creepy forest where there's like no music and nothing. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, exactly. It
And
looks
this
like
is-
they've got some nice variety.
It's exactly what Mario needs, because he is an iconic figure, and you need to kind of change it up to this point where not to the point he's not a first-person shooter or anything like that. It's it needs this kind of look at this. Mario is going next level now. He's jumping over this. He's no longer in the Mushroom Kingdom. He went to New York.
Yeah.
And he fought Bowser in New York.
He fought Pimp Bowser.
Pimp Bowser, yeah, in a white suit.
Yeah, he went full JoJo there.
Pretty much, yeah. His Speedwagon right there.
Exactly.
Dash in the hat. I was like, what?
We're going to see some nice hat battle, you can tell.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. And then Bowser's like, you underestimate the power of my stand.
And then we just got, I can't remember his name from James Bond.
Well, I can't help you there.
Okay, the guy who throws his razor
Oh,
hat.
Top Hat.
Yeah. No, he's not called Top Hat.
No, he's, I forget what he's called.
I can't remember either, it's been a while.
Short Round or something like that.
No, that's Indiana Jones.
No, I can't remember his name. He's called something weird.
Yeah, something
That
weird.
much.
I love
Something
that character.
weird, yeah.
He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah,
He's my favourite part of the James Bond series.
the James Bond prequels.
Yeah, I guess. Everything's a prequel compared to Spectre.
Oh god.
But yes, but that pretty much would round up the direct, because we did have one kind of tiny teaser trailer, which we're going to talk about the extended one, which is Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah.
Which only 30 seconds of gameplay, which is very disappointing, but I'd imagine they are still working on it, and it does look pretty solid, has a slightly nicer art style than its previous game, which was Hyrule Warriors.
Yes.
If you can't already gather the connection, that is the fact that it's essentially Fire Emblem, once again, mixing with Dynasty Warriors to create a beat-em-up. I think this is going to be a lot better than Hyrule Warriors, simply because there are way more characters in Fire Emblem than there are in Zelda.
Plus, they probably learned a lot from development of Hyrule Warriors to make the gameplay more interesting, I guess.
I'm expecting a lot from this game.
Okay,
I'm
alright.
not just expecting everyone from Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates. I'm expecting you to go back, and I'm expecting to see characters
Okay.
from a long time. But I am looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I've yet to touch Hyrule Warriors, and I really do want to touch that game. This one should be very interesting because it's once again giving that franchise that everyone from the West was like, where's the Fire Emblem? Where's the Fire Emblem? And then Nintendo's like, we got you. We got you. You asked. Now you're finally going to get it, and you're going to get a ton more. Because pretty much after this Direct happened, we got a Fire Emblems Direct.
Yeah.
Which completely caught me off guard. And that came out a few days after. And I was like, Fire Emblem, are you going to announce like a ton more games, you know? Because it's crazy, because I like Fire Emblem, as I'm sure people who've listened to this podcast long enough know that. And to have dedication to a franchise I'm really, really starting to love is great. And I was pleasantly happy with the first announcement, which was Fire Emblem's Echoes, Shadows of Valencia.
Valencia.
I couldn't say that for some reason. I think it's too long of a title.
No, I
and at the end of my words, I was like, oh. That's basically what happens. I was hoping for some kind of re-release, because now is the perfect time to do this. Everyone loves Fire Emblem. Everyone knows about Fire Emblem. Re-release a game, and everyone's, this is back in the day, 1980, 1990, you know, back when we couldn't get those games. And we essentially got essentially what we're getting is a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, which was the second game released in the franchise, or the series. And it's awesome to see the amount of love and attention they are putting into this game to kind of please both kinds of people within the fandom. So for anyone who did play that game, they're hopefully going to be getting the same kind of experience, because they're definitely changing it up, adding changes and adding additions compared to the newer games, Awakening, Radiant Dawn and all that, which should essentially please both. And I'm really hoping that this game turns out to be pretty good. I like the idea of the art style being slightly different. I like the fact that you kind of just, it isn't chapter based, it's more, I'm going here now, we need to move this way, go this way. I love the movement of the map. I love all the changes they've made. I love the fact that they're trying to stay as true as possible to make this remake for everyone, and I think they can succeed. And also the fact that the game is coming out in the 19th of May for us, which is not too far. Yes, this is like less than about 4 months away.
Damn, okay.
Which is crazy, because they have been very quiet about this one. And they kept it under wraps for so long, and I'm so happy to see that Fire Emblem's getting so much more love, because it's definitely one of those things that we need it. We need more RPGs, we need more strategies, we need more Fire Emblem, and this is Nintendo's like, once again, we got you. You asked for it, we're getting it to you. And this is a quick mention, I love how when people are like, we want more Fire Emblem, and they put so many characters into Smash, and the people are like, no more Fire Emblem characters. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. And the last game we're going to quickly talk about, still within the Fire Emblem Direct, is Fire Emblem Heroes, which is another mobile game, which is a bit worrying.
Yeah.
But I really like its concept.
Okay.
I think it's pretty great. Essentially, you're fighting one evil, and you can essentially acquire characters from throughout the history of Fire Emblem to essentially be part of your team and help you fight this one evil. You're essentially creating your own army based on these familiar characters, whether they're just based on characters you like or they're super powerful, and it really lets you customize your Fire Emblem experience. And they also take a bit from Yokai Watch, where you can do this kind of, I believe they described it as an orb like system, where randomize or put an orb into this, you got a character kind of thing, which I think is great. Because they've also said that you can get multiple of the same character who are of different ranks with different skills and all that, but at the same time, you can level up the one you already have. With enough time and love and all that. The only thing that I think could kind of suck with this game is the fact that you're essentially going to have that grid map on a phone. And it's going to be quite small, and there is a lot of limitations in options.
Plus touchscreen.
Touchscreens could be finicky. Also, look at your phone. Phones aren't that big.
No.
I think they said it's by about 8 by 8 grid or something very
So you're
small.
going to have to like zoom in or something.
I don't think you can, because I think it's designed to fit onto one screen. In obviously other games from about Radiant Dawn, you could really zoom in and kind of customize seeing the whole map. That could mess it up, but at the same time, if they put it on iPad, or even Mac, that could really help the game. But other than that, if I had a phone that could play this kind of game, I would actually play it.
Yeah.
But I think it could be another success for them. They've got, mobile games within their 3 big franchises. We need to see Zelda yet. They'll probably do it somehow.
I still don't want any like more Nintendo mobile games.
I don't want it neither, but I'm just saying, if they're going to do it, at least do it well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Super Mario Run and I was like, fuck that.
It's too short.
Like, not even that, just the contents of the game. Oh, he just parkours over Goombas.
Ugh.
Fuck that. That's not Mario.
Yeah, and the game's pretty expensive.
I didn't even know it was priced. I thought it was free. That's even worse.
No, you can play the first few levels for free, and then it's... I don't know how much money, but it is...
That's terrible.
I would say minimum of £5.
And considering it has microtransactions as well...
Well, unfortunately, you're stupid if you don't make a mobile game with microtransactions. Simply put, they will laugh at you if you say, I want to make a free game. They will laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you.
Like, pricing it and microtransactions, like, if it's free and there's microtransactions, fine.
Yeah.
But if it's priced and microtransactions, that's awful.
That is an issue, yes. So, but,
yeah.
This game could be cool. I'm hoping for the best. I just... It's fine. If it's going to make Nintendo more money, if it's going to help change them, and they put all the money that they make from this game into making another really good Fire Emblem game, or they go, well, we're going to improve Switch, or now we can make another original game that everyone's going to love and goes on to be a legendary game, fine. I'm pretty sure they're using these mobile games as an excuse to get a little extra pocket money.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me. People will play it, people will lap it up, fine, whatever. Nintendo is more famous than Sony and Microsoft, so they can do this.
I would say one thing as well. This isn't about mobile game. This is about the Switch.
Yeah.
So they released the price for, I think, extra like controllers and it was around the like £50, which is a bit overpriced in my opinion.
Yes, I think it is.
Considering that PS4 controllers are still about 40 quid as well, like new.
And you talk about the Microsoft Elite controllers, that bit of garbage, which is about £80, which is absolute nonsense.
Prices like that I find ridiculous, that a controller costs as much as a game.
You have to remember they got to make some of their money back as well.
True,
so that's unfortunately the only way they're going to be able to even do that. Is extortion, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason why... that's the main reason why people bring around their consoles. I ain't going to buy three more controllers for my system for the off chance everyone comes around and plays at mine.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. But, I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. I believe this game is coming up pretty soon, although they've said that if you go onto their website, you can vote for certain characters and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not going to have the same kind of support that Mario or Pokemon did, but at the same time, the Fire Emblem fandom is very hardcore. And that's the one thing Nintendo's noticed. The Fire Emblem is not an easy game. It's pretty hard. And not everyone is going to be able to get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Simply put. And not everyone will. That's why you see so many pre-owned copies of Conquest. Because people gave up.
Yeah,
and I don't blame them. It's like second hardest game in the whole franchise. So, But that's pretty much going to wrap up the Nintendo Directs that happened. I think we are still somewhat looking forward to the console.
Yeah, I am.
I don't know. I don't think we'll buy one straight away. I know someone who is, so I'll be going around their house. But if I had more money, then sure, maybe. I need maybe a few more games, and I'm sure they're going to announce a few more.
Yeah, and I think I saw the launch title, and Super Mario Odyssey isn't a launch title. Obviously, Breath of the Wild is.
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah, but Odyssey, they said holiday 2017.
That could be anywhere.
Exactly. So, yeah.
But yeah, that's basically between August to December.
Yeah. So, not sure.
They're still working on it, but I mean, if they can keep people interested enough, I mean, hey, every month release a trailer regarding every world.
I
that'll
think
keep
that
people interested enough.
Maybe do half so people at least have some left to discover in the game.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, knowing the later Mario games, they have so many levels in it.
Exactly.
You know, they could do that and they probably wouldn't even spoil anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, they could, they could literally, if they wanted to, they could show off the whole of one world each month. Not the whole of one world, excuse me. Every level from one world if they wanted to, leading up to the game, so that by the time the game comes out, everyone somewhat knows how to roughly beat the first world, and then you're on your own, kid.
Yeah, that would be fair.
That could work. But yeah, I need to say we are very excited, and that's pretty much going to end up the podcast. But we're going to end it as we always do with the video of the episode, and that is, interestingly tying in with discussion, that is Super Real Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, by a YouTuber that we're both very fond of, Crow Cat.
Yep.
Which, oh my god,
his
it's beautiful.
content is fantastic, and he uploaded this video which essentially shows you what Mario Odyssey is potentially going to look like, particularly around about the New York scene.
Yeah.
We're not going to spoil anything, but it's definitely a video you're going to want to watch so that you can get a good idea as to how Mario Odyssey is shaping up.
Yeah, definitely. And, his exclusive look.
His exclusive look. Yeah. He got the goods.
Yeah.
He's helping you guys out, so it's definitely good to go support him and check out the video, and also subscribe to his channel because he makes some fantastic stuff regardless. But yeah, that's going to end our podcast. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this one up?
That's all I've got.
Cool.
Oh wait, oh hi Mark. Didn't see you there.
Get out, we're still recording. Ferret is away. He's on holiday-ish, kind of. Well, he's out of the country basically, but he'll be hopefully back next podcast. We've got more reviews and other things that will be going up. Somewhat busy month in terms of films coming out. We might go see a few. We're not going to say which ones. We have the playthrough, brand new playthrough, which is going up after this podcast. So stay tuned for that one. And we'll see you on the next podcast for the most part, which hopefully isn't as business-y based on the next one, but who knows.
And hopefully it will at least have as much gaming relevancy as this one did, because a lot of the podcasts have been missing games, and that's an interesting message when it comes to the industry at large.
Yeah, it's almost as if nothing's happening in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, let's think about that one. But I'll end this podcast like I always do by saying I am the Yankee Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we will see you on the next one.
Of Dewey-san.
Alright, laters guys.